Hey guys, Nikki. I'm back in the video, and today we're going to be talking about, we're going to do a car talk where we just ramble. Basically, my edition of Rambles of a wrestling fan in the car. But let's talk about our male Royal Rumble winner, Roman Reigns. First off, before the Royal Rumble, he went on Pat McAfee's show and talked about, I believe, the state of the main division for the men's roster. Now, before, like, Nikki Bella did recently say that, the women's division, they good. They have stars, but the male's division needs more stars. And what's interesting is, sure, in character, Roman was talking a lot of mess when he said that he gave 2 years for them to figure out the landscape to evolve, and they have not evolved yet. So it's time for me to get back on there. Even though it was a little bit less cocky than what Roman Reigns said, it was around the same thought, the same belief that the men's roster needs more stars. They need to develop more stars because, like it or not, the stars that they have, the main event stars that they've been cultivating, are people that are going to retire sooner rather than later. They don't have the same shelf life I guess that's not a nice term, but they don't have the same shelf life as other people that are there, have the potential. They just need the opportunity. They just need to be cultivated. And it's almost as if WWE is a little bit allergic of actually developing younger stars. Like, I know that, a lot of people are probably getting tired of me talking about Carmelo Hayes, but for it to have taken like a year on the main roster for him to make real waves, it's interesting to me, considering the fact that y'all was doing stuff with Braun Breaker, and still with Braun Breaker, he has some good stuff, but I think that he could have had a longer IC title run. I believe that he could have had a longer IC title reign if they were not going to give him a world championship, which I don't know if I personally am ready to see him with the world championship, but if that was going to happen, y'all should have had him with the IC title for a very long time. And I believe because the Roman Reigns has that part-time schedule, people like to, throw rocks at him. But if we're going to be honest, that part-time schedule is something that helps both Roman and WWE, the roster, because you can't have such a star like him and then have him avoid the world titles and you have him avoid the main event scene as much as they did, but then not do anything for other people on that main roster. Like, not pushing more stars and making new stars like LA Knight. He should have had an opportunity. I am not the biggest LA Knight fan, but he should have had a world title. I don't know, a world title or arc that really meant something. Instead, he's always getting this close to something, this close. And that's just weird to me. It's weird to me, especially when you want to continuously say we're in a new era, yet we're doing things that aren't going to make a new era. We're doing things that are, I believe, counterproductive to what WWE is. They do a lot of trying to push this whole sports thing, try to push this whole you guys gotta, I don't know, kind of push more of the athletic part of wrestling, which is good. But then they leave out such a big chunk of what wrestling is, and that's drama. But then they're like expecting us to pay exorbitant prices for stuff that is not as entertaining as it used to be. And I believe that the wrestlers that they have now just aren't at the place where they are like Roman. Because Roman can just say, F you, we're doing this story, we're doing this. And he has that capital. He has that ability to be like, I don't think this is the right direction for my character. Or, there needs to be more put into the story because he's proved himself. There's a lot of people that have not proved themselves, so they're just stuck with whatever happens. So then we're getting things that are just don't give drama. That's what we're getting. We're not getting things that really produce the same amount of drama as a Bloodline story. But then we get mad at the Bloodliners because they say that we're the ones who push storyline. We're the one who push. They are. I mean, like, we don't even have to sugarcoat it. Jey Uso gets too much hate for y'all, he gets too much hate in general. And that's just because of, I'm gonna say the J word. I'm gonna say the J word. I think a lot of wrestling fans are jealous that their fave is not in the same position as Jey Uso. Yes, Jey Uso is not as I don't think he has the same athletic abilities as a lot of superstars. And that's where people are upset at, because their fave have all this talent, but then there's this other part of wrestling that Jey Uso has matched and mastered, and that is the ability to get emotion out of the crowd, to captivate an audience, and to tell a story. That part over here is such a they want to make it so like it's not a big importance, but it is. It really is. That ability to really get the crowd in and to have them buy what you're selling. Because at the end of the day, wrestlers are almost like salespersons. They have to convince you. They have to convince you to buy their match, to buy into their match, to actually pay attention to what's going on. And when they don't do that, that's when you get crowds that aren't paying attention as much. You can have the biggest name in wrestling, but if they're not able to captivate the audience, if they're not able to tell a story, something's gonna fall flat. There's gonna be moments where things fall flat and things are not, they're just not being translated well. They're not. And I know a lot of people are upset about the fact that there's this element of wrestling that a lot of people with great athletic ability just don't have. So they're just not they're not at the points where fans think they should be. But Jey Uso, he's mastered that without having to be so extravagant in his athletic abilities. So I get it, but there's no room to hate and act as if their impact isn't there. And it's just me. I'm not even the biggest Jey Uso fan. I really enjoy Jey Uso. I love the Usos. But at the end of the day, a fact is a fact. Like, the only time you might hear some biased energy out of me is when we're talking about NAOMI and Roman Reigns. But then it don't even be biased. It don't even be biased. It be facts. It be true. I just have more emotion concerning them. I don't know. I just believe that wrestling just needs to get fun again. It just needs to get fun again, okay? Like, it's so serious, and then you want to... I think that there's certain people that want to point other people to AEW, but AEW is about wrestling, hardcore wrestling. Sometimes I want things to be a little dramatic, fluffy. I do, okay? That's the fun thing about wrestling sometimes, okay? It's the fun fluffiness. Like, do we have to be serious all the darn time? Do we have to be serious all the time? Like, this ain't UFC. We don't have to be serious all the time. This ain't boxing. There's times where I love the dramatics and everything, but I miss the fun. I do. I miss the fun, and WWE needs to get back to that. Let's talk now about Chelsea Green. Let's talk about Chelsea Green. So, Michael Hayes, when Unreal came out, basically said she has a ceiling. She's just there to help stars like Charlotte Flair, all those good people. I think he should not have said that, because Chelsea Green is a real person. She has real feelings. She shouldn't have said that, especially when that has not already been vocalized to her. If it hasn't been vocalized to her, but then she finds that out on world television along with the whole wide world. Like, I understand y'all used to national, like, if it's national, but the whole wide world now knows that Chelsea Green cannot win a world title because she's just not built for that. And I think there is a limit where she could now, because of that hatred and because Chelsea Green is a worker, she could find her way into having a world title. I believe that, because if people get behind her, yeah, she got a world title. But I think it was that kind of left a bad taste in my mouth, because why would you do that? Kind of unprofessional. But now, Chelsea Green herself has commented on that, like, multiple times. At least 2 tweets. She's made 2 tweets about that. And then she also was on a podcast or interview, and she kind of responded to it. That was made me feel bad, and truth be told, what he might have said may not have been completely unfactual, because it's been something if they don't change her character, I don't want to see her with a world title. But I think it could be entertaining. But now, I think she might get a world title out of that. I think she could get a world title out of that. Because, at the end of the day, like I said, wrestlers are salesperson. They have to sell you in a match. And Chelsea Green can sell a crowd. Not sell a crowd. Yeah, she can sell a crowd. She can make a crowd buy into whatever she's doing that night, which is something that a lot of wrestlers with the athletic abilities just can't always do. They're not always consistent with that. And it's a skill that somebody like her has kind of mastered because of how long it took her to get into to where she's at now, which I think is pretty cool. But I don't know if I really want to see her with a world championship. But now, I don't know. It makes me want to root for her because, like, whenever there's people that are getting hated on and people doubt them, it's like, okay, I want you to go even harder and I want you to win. Now, the Street Profits, they had a NXT match, not on the show, but they had it like one of them house, I don't know if we call it a house show, but maybe NXT house show, whatever. And that's their first appearance in months, maybe weeks, I don't know. That makes me angry. It makes me angry. Now, Montez Ford beefed up a little bit. He beefed up a little bit, which I gotta say, pretty cool, pretty nice. But what needs to happen is they need to find themselves back into that tag team division. And a lot of people are calling for Montez Ford to go solo. I don't think it's time yet. I think they need to allow a lot of the folks that just came in to settle in, and then you do something with with Montez Ford singularly. Same thing with Dawkins. Do something with him singularly after things have gotten settled, because I understand sometimes they can't work multiple things at once. They can't do certain things at the same time. So what they need to do is allow them to get some Mania, have them have a Mania match, and then we figure out what happens after that. But now, don't be pushing for no singles. Hey, we don't need anything to go to the point where, he's singles, but he's also not on TV for 2 weeks or 3 weeks or 4 weeks, and we're back to where the problem was with the Street Profits. The Street Profits are mad underrated. I think they could go. I think for a refresher, if they want to keep them as tag teams, they should trade them over to Raw. That's just me, because they need more heavy hitters on Raw on that tag team division. Because the Usos, they can't come over to SmackDown because SmackDown has their own titles. Unless we do a Survivor Series. It always comes back to Survivor Series. No, I'm just playing. But I don't need them to just have them split just to have them split. There's no point in that. But thank you for watching. Please like, comment, share, and subscribe. And I'll see you guys next time. Bye.